Howdy folks, hope you're all having a good one, and welcome back to World of Tanks with the mighty Jingles. You know, it's been a long time since I've actually seen a battle in World of Tanks where I've found myself actually shouting and cheering at the screen in excitement. Today is one of those battles. This is our Tipton in the Manticore. Yes, I know, Manticore again, light tank again, Malinovka again, but trust me, we've seen some good battles on this map recently. None of them as good as this. This is just amazing. Not at first. I mean, you know, at first he's doing the typical light tank thing. Moves up to the bush, parks, turns around for a quick getaway. He's already getting some spotting damage in. Calls for some fire on the bush at the other side, because there's almost always somebody camping one of these bushes spotting. It's not unusual to see people emptying a couple of high explosive shells into these bushes at the start of the battle, and usually they hit something. Right. He's already up to 2,600 spotting damage. Trust me, he is just getting started. And it's not just going to be the spotting damage, although it's a foolish light tank who tries to get any direct damage done while they're spotting this early in a battle. For now, he's just relying on his teammates. I'm kind of surprised at just how good the Manticore turned out to be once people figured out how to use it, because at first it did kind of get written off as a pretty bad tank, mostly because all of the light tanks leading up to it are pretty bad tanks. But somehow the Manticore, I mean, while it still shares many of the characteristics of the lousy tanks that lead up to it, the Manticore just seems to hit that sweet spot and get it right. I mean, it's not a brawler, it's not really a fighter, it's on with a 105mm gun, which in reality would never have been capable of being, well, you could probably fit a 105mm gun to a tank this size, but the second you fired it would rip the turret clean off the turret ring. There's just no space inside a turret of this size for the recoil buffer that you'd need to make a gun of this size work, but whatever, fine. You do kind of pay for it in a horrifically slow reload, of course. You basically get one shot, and then you've got to get out of there. Unless it's a low health target, and that one shot is going to be enough to kill it, which isn't out of the question. I mean, you know, it is a 105mm gun. It's got pretty good alpha damage. Why is nobody shooting the 121? That's kind of surprising. His ass is just sticking out there. He's spotted it. Oh, look at that. See how jerky the movement of the tanks is at that kind of range. This is all down to how often World of Tanks polls the server for the location of targets. It polls it slower the further away the target is. Although I don't recall seeing it as bad as that in other battles. Maybe it's something to do with, I don't know, whatever, reasons. 5,000 spotting damage. This is proving to be a very profitable bush. I'm surprised the enemy team haven't tried popping a couple of high explosive rounds into it, because it's fairly obvious where they're all getting spotted from, but certainly not complaining. Now they're starting to light up the 121. However, while things are pretty much in control, down here, have a look at the minimap and the top of the hill, where the team are either getting outfought or they just didn't send enough tanks up there. Somebody's going to have to go and do something about that. I wonder if you can guess who it's going to be. So, our Tipton is on the move. Because what tends to happen, as soon as the enemy team have taken the hill, they come sweeping down to the next available spot of cover, which is the forest up here. And somebody needs to see them coming. Also, people need to redeploy, and they are, to do something about all of the tanks that get spotted coming down from the hill. Because they have just killed the last friendly tank up there. Our Tipton's team are down 5 kills, and the enemy team are about to start making their move. Has he made it up here in time? Well, kind of yes and kind of no. You can see he was at first thinking about heading up to that bush right at the edge of the forest in order to get a clear, unrestricted view of those enemy tanks heading down from the hill. But they've all been spotted anyway, and honestly that bush is a little bit too close for comfort. As it happens, he could have probably made it up there reasonably safely, although he didn't know it at the time, because instead of sweeping down into the forest, the enemy team were instead sweeping down into the low ground right under the hill. But he decided to play it safe, because if they had swept down into the forest, he probably would have gotten another 1,000 or 2,000 spotting damage as everybody shot them coming in, but they would have seen him and he would have probably already been dead. So instead he's played it safe. He's back down to this second line of cover. And he's still getting plenty of spotting damage out of it. Although he is starting to lose sight. Speaking of which, that's 9,000 spotting damage. He hasn't even fired the gun yet, of course. The team are starting to pull some of the kills back, but they're still down 4 kills. Although the health difference between the two teams is not that extreme. I mean, the enemy team are winning, but they've paid for it in hit points. He's now up to nearly 10,000 spotting damage. I mean, you know, this early in a battle, that's amazing. Although you do have to give credit to the team for actually shooting the targets that he's lighting up. Do you see the shot there into the bush? That would have hit him if he'd taken that first bush. And there's the enemy Manticore. They really need that thing dead. Shit, he's coming. You do not need to get spotted. I mean, you might win the fight. You'd probably end up killing the enemy Manticore. Certainly his platoon mate here in the Leopard 1 would make his life very interesting, but it's not worth the risk of getting spotted in the process. There's his first shot fired, and the enemy Manticore is dead. Right. Gonna move back up. That's got to be a huge weight off his shoulders. There's a T-110E5 up there that needs to die before he can recover. Oh, careful, careful, careful. Come on, guys. Come on. There goes the Super Conqueror. There goes the T-110E5. 15,000 spotting damage, by the way. And with the T-110E5, the Super Conqueror and the Manticore taken care of, he can cautiously move back up and continue spotting. Okay, amongst other things, he spotted a Jaegeru and an Object 268. It's time to start doing some more direct damage. Notice how he pulled back, so there's multiple levels of concealment between himself and his targets. There's absolutely no danger whatsoever that he was going to get spotted there. And he's got the underbelly of the 268 as well, again. No chance he was going to get spotted, but just in case, he pulled back behind the wreck of the dead tank. He's not the one actually doing the spotting here, of course, but he is the one who is starting to do the damage. He's now up to 1,300 of his own damage and 15,000 spotting damage. Watch how he chooses his shots here. There goes the 1-2-1. At no point during the course of this battle has he actually been detected. I mean, there's only 5 of them left. But there's now only a 1 kill difference between the two teams, and his team actually enjoy a 3,000 hit point advantage over the enemy team. And it's all down to his spotting. This is how a Manticore can carry a battle. Certainly not through its own direct damage. Yeah, it gets a fairly big gun, but there's nothing special about a 105mm gun at tier 10, and it only starts the battle with 20 shots. You're never going to fight your way to a victory in this thing. And while this is not a bad gun by any stretch of the imagination, I mean it's accurate, but the aiming time on the Manticore is absolutely terrible. He wasn't willing to risk the shot there on the Jaegeru until it was fully aimed, and he knew he was going to get the maximum amount of bang for his buck. It's strange because, I mean, this is basically exactly the same gun that you get on the Leopard 1, that you get on a couple of the Centurions, where it has the same laser-like accuracy, the same alpha damage, the same penetration, but the aiming time on the Manticore is kind of bad. I suppose that's the price you pay for having a gun this big on a tank this small. That and the horrifically long reload. Well, since the Jaegeru and the Object don't appear to be in any rush to push, as long as they're convinced they're being spotted by our Tipton, there's a bit of a threat developing. Well, not that much of a threat, but there are at least targets that are visible and can be spotted down here. And the presence of the enemy Object 140 is kind of worrying. I mean, it's no Manticore, but it's probably the best scout remaining on the enemy team. They've just lost the Type 5 Heavy down here. This is why they're all rushing down here to back him up. They arrived a little too late. Oh, the friendly Object just took a big hit. But that's the first time in this battle that our Tipton has been spotted, by the way. Closing in at close quarters to assist in killing off the T-110E5. I'd say it was worth it. He didn't get the kill, but who gets the kills doesn't matter. What's important is that kills happen. It reduces the number of guns firing back at the remaining members of your team. There's still 1 kill behind, And the health advantage is narrowed considerably with the loss of the Japanese heavy. But they still have about 1,000 hit points over the enemy team, and it's still only one kill. Tipton getting spotted down at the other end of the map as look, the Jaeger who took his brave pills. Oh, the manacle's all the way down there. Keep this guy spotted. There we go. Oh, you might, maybe. Oh, I don't know, actually. He's looking for the underbelly. Didn't get through. Didn't take any chances on waiting to see whether or not he was going to get spotted. Just assumed that he would and retreated to the low ground, and he did of course get spotted. There's another kill here if he can just... oh, there it is. No, he's turned. He's going for the undercarriage again. He's going for the lower plate, and he's got it this time. There goes the Jaeger. Object 140 spotted. They're still technically losing. The enemy team just keep maintaining that one kill advantage. And honestly, I mean, I know it sounds really obvious when you say it like this, but it doesn't really matter what the hit point difference is between the two teams. If the enemy team can just maintain that one kill advantage, eventually they'll win. 3 of them left against 4 enemies. Tipton hasn't taken any damage. I think the Jaeger's on full health, which means his platoon mate in the Leopard 1 is probably a one-shot kill, given the amount of health remaining spread across all 3 of these tanks. Tipton, again, taking the lead. Needs to spot targets, keep giving that Leopard 1 targets to shoot at. It's probably the Object 140 and the UDES 1516 who are going to be the biggest issues as far as Tipton's concerned, because they're the only real spotters that the enemy team have. The Object 140 was last seen at the other end of the map, and there's the UDES 1516. Watch this. And that's the point where his sixth sense went off. You can tell just by watching, because sixth sense doesn't activate instantly. You have to wait something like to the count of 3 after being spotted before the sixth sense alert goes off, and you could see exactly the point at which the UDES realised that he'd been spotted. Fortunately, even though this thing does have a very slow aiming time, it was quick enough that he was able to get a shot in. And now, it's 3 on 3. And that must be an extremely nervous AMX M454, because he knows there's somebody up here. And with 42 hit points remaining, he's probably just grateful that there isn't artillery in play. Oh, there's the UDES again. And that's probably really the first miscalculation that Tipton's made, because the UDES did spot him. And he doesn't get the return shot in, and he's not sticking around waiting for the UDES to reload. You don't play games of who's going to reload first in the Manticore against anything other than maybe a Jaeger. Very, very slow reload. Oh, they've taken the AM. You know what? I have to give props to the AMX M4, because he's basically been on about 42 hit points for the majority of this battle. And he's not only still alive, he just got his second kill by taking out the Leopard after the Leopard took out the UDES. But the Leopard did take out the UDES, which means this guy's days are numbered. Tipton has the hit points to be able to afford to trade, and he's got the manoeuvrability to ensure that the AMX M454 was never going to get another shot off, but the Object 140 did. And now things are looking exceptionally dicey. He cannot afford to take another hit. There are less than 2 minutes of this battle remaining. Oh, that was a hit. 357 damage done. Not enough, of course. And now with less than 2 minutes of the battle remaining, I mean, good job done by the Jaeger over there. Successfully prevented the Object 140 from getting around and flanking and directly supporting his 2 surviving teammates. But now the Object is on the run, and the Jaeger is never going to catch him. Manticore can though, but of course now we have the problem of what happens if you do catch the Object 140, because you're in a Manticore, and it's an Object 140. And he's got 1200 hit points left, and you don't. So not only does he have to catch this object, he also cannot get spotted. And with the Object determined to force a draw, and the Jaeger trailing so far behind that he's never really going to realistically get a shot off, Tipton has to catch him and kill him with less than a minute to go. And he cannot get spotted while doing it. He is doing a remarkably good job of it though, isn't he? That's got to be what extremely upset Object 140. Did he get spotted there? He didn't. He's not taking any chances though. He's sticking to the low ground, but the clock is ticking down. He only has 32 seconds left. There he is. Can he? Come on. No! No, 23 seconds remaining. Didn't get spotted though. He's got to do it with his shot. Oh, wow, would you look at this. And with 2 shots and 9 seconds of the battle remaining, he gets the final kill. And if he hadn't gotten the kill then, he never would have. Because even though he technically had 1 more shot remaining than he needed, with 2 rounds of ammo left in the tank, he didn't have enough time to reload and claim that final kill. That was pretty impressive. I mean, I know I say that a lot. This was better than pretty impressive. This was epic. Which is a term that gets overused way too often on YouTube, but I think it's appropriate in this case. Because that wasn't just 5 kills, 1700 base XP and 3600 damage. That was 5 kills, 1700 base XP, 3600 damage and 17,000 spotting damage. That's 20,000 damage combined. I don't think I have ever seen that before. I hope Aurorix78 is watching today's video and taking some notes, because he's got some serious competition here today in the shape of our Tipton in the Manticore. 20,000 combined damage here on the Malinovka map. I mean, if it's going to happen anywhere, it's going to happen here on Malinovka or on Prokhorovka, where the conditions are ripe for this sort of thing. And you often see people getting some pretty impressive spotting damage on those 2 maps, but I don't think I have ever seen anything this impressive. So our Tipton, take a bow. Extremely well done. Everybody else, hope you enjoyed it. I can't wait to see what you have to say about this one in the comments. And as always, take care, and I'll catch you next time.